Hello, friends. This is Dave Hurwitz, Executive Editor at ClassicsToday.com, here with Dave's Faves. Now, I have explained to you many times why I love recordings with the Paris Conservatory Orchestra. The orchestra that was founded in 1828 by Francois Habeneck in order to perform Beethoven. It is an orchestra that has one of the longest, or had, pardon me, till it was dissolved in the late 1960s. It had one of the most splendid, unbroken traditions of performance practice in all of Western history. And it really is an extraordinary ensemble. Like many of you, I grew up being taught by English and American critics that French orchestras basically sucked, that they had watery horns and wobbly trumpets and sort of acerbic, dry-sounding woodwinds. And yes, they had all of those things. Are they necessarily bad? No, they're not. Not only are they not bad, but that kind of commentary is extremely ironic, coming as it does from the same people who now praise to the skies period instrument ensembles, which sound even rougher and more ragged and scrawnier and less appealing than the French orchestras did. The fact of the matter is that the French orchestras had their own school of playing. And it's perfectly fine if you don't like it, but they did superb work within that school of playing, and it's probably fair to say that they did particularly superb work in music written for them, with their particular sound in mind. And so I just have to talk about some of the things that I really adore played by the Paris Conservatory Orchestra, and one of those albums is this one. This is an Eloquence re-release, Decca Eloquence, of the completely orchestrated Albeniz Iberia. It was orchestrated by Arbos, those are the famous few numbers, 5 numbers or so that he did, and completed by Carlos Surinach, who was a very fine composer in his own right. You also get Ravel's Rhapsody Espagnole on here, and then with the Covent Garden Orchestra, Chabrier's Espagne, Marche Joyeuse, and the Bizet, l'Arlésienne Suites 1 and 2. The conductor of all of this music is Jean Morel. Now, Jean Morel was around for quite a while. He taught at Juilliard. He was very well known as an educator, more an educator than as someone who had a long recorded legacy. But he was a wonderful conductor in that fabulous French tradition, which the Paris Conservatory Orchestra was also a part of. And so to have him perform this music with the Paris Conservatoire Orchestra is just delicious. And at some point, I'm going to have to do a Dave's Faves talk about my favorite piano version of the complete Iberia, because it really needs to be on everybody's short list of, great, amazing piano works. It's just a glorious piece of music. And most pianists at one point or another have to confront its formidable expressive and technical difficulties. But I like the orchestration of this piece. It seems to cry out for what an orchestra can do. And, Arbos's orchestration is not bad. It's really quite colorful and fun to listen to. And Surinach's, remainder of it is excellent. There are other orchestrations of the complete Iberia. Don't get me wrong. What's his name? Briner did one for Naxos, for example. But I prefer this really considerably. And boy, oh boy, I love this performance, because you get to hear the Paris Conservatory Orchestra doing all of its French orchestral things that I was told when I was a child were all bad. And they aren't bad at all. They're wonderful. They're absolutely wonderful, because they are not only idiomatic to the music, which, that doesn't mean that, like the Philadelphia Orchestra under Muti playing this was anything wrong with that. It was absolutely thrilling. Or the one on Chandos was it BBC Philharmonic or one of those people. I mean, there are many ways to approach these masterpieces. My only point isn't that the French were better. It's just that they weren't awful. They were characterful. They were characteristic. And today, when everything is homogenized and starting to sound the same, to go back and listen to these unbelievably characterful performances, led by conductors who were steeped in the music and who were willing to allow the players to give their best in their way, that's a wonderful thing. And so I just adore this complete Iberia on Decca Eloquence. I'm so glad it's around. I hope it's still around. I don't know, but it was, and it may be findable if it isn't. And the other works, the Rhapsody Espagnole and the Chabrier stuff and the Bizet stuff, it's all marvelous. It's all very, very well done by Jean Morel, but the real prize is the Ravel and, above all, the Albeniz with the Paris Conservatory Orchestra. An extraordinary group that's gone forever. Their particular sound is gone forever, and this particular disc preserves it beautifully, absolutely beautifully, and music that's just enchanting. So it really can't be better than that. So keep on listening, friends. Thank you so much for joining me. Take care.